sure the audio is working correctly. Testing. All right. Let me verify. Sorry. It's taking so long to get this going. Let me verify. Sorry. Week 11 predictions video. Nobody else on it right now, so I'm just going to knock one out. We're going to go through everything since I got some time and no other opinions except my own for this one. So, take a look at the top 25. Kansas in the number one spot at 8-1. Saban on a bye week dropped 2 spots. Hadn't lost yet. It's a little ridiculous that both him and Chapo are undefeated and not number 1 and number 2. But Kansas is number 1, Georgia Tech at number 2, South Carolina at 3, LSU 4, and Penn State coming back at the 5th. The rest of your top 10 is Kentucky, USC, Colorado, Tennessee, and Ohio State. We got users all the way down to the first 15, and as well as Twan at 18, and I think that's it. So 16 users in the top 25 is pretty solid. Let's look at these players of the week. So your National Defensive Player of the Week, Toby McMahon, 3 tackles, 3 picks, and 2 touchdowns, and a 59-7 win for Des at home to Maryland. And then the CPU had the Offensive Player of the Week. We go to the ACC. Defensive Player of the Week, Elijah Groves, 4 tackles, an interception, and a touchdown for the middle linebacker out of Georgia Tech, and a close win for Peso at home over Robb. And then Gabe's quarterback, Ruben Neal, in a big-time blowout at Georgia, 15 of 19, 345 yards, 4 touchdowns. Good game for him. Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, Richard Queen, 3 tackles, 2 picks, and a touchdown, and a blowout win for Dean on the road at Texas. The wide receiver out of Oklahoma, Juan Estorino, with 8 catches, 234 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a 3-point loss at USC. A tough loss there for LP. Big Ten, McMahon, of course, Defensive National Player of the Week. Offensive Player of the Week, Ty Kane, wide receiver out of Michigan, 4 catches, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and a Randy Moss-type performance, and a blowout win for V. Go look at the SEC. Got an LSU sweep here. Damian Shanklin, and what feels like it's got to be like his 5th Player of the Week or something like that. Maybe it's not as many as I thought. 3rd. Had 9 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, and an absolute smoke show in the battle for the Golden Boot over Telu. And then wide receiver Paul Hanley, 4 catches, 178 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that same game. Take a quick look at the college football playoff bracket. What they're projecting, at least to this point, is Kansas, Georgia Tech, LSU, and Oregon with the byes. And then South Carolina, Penn State, Kentucky, USC, Colorado, Tennessee, Ohio State, all getting spots, and of course the CPU team as well. When we look at our Heisman watch, Lawrence Yearby continues to lead the way, going for back-to-back, first 2-time winner as well in league history for JJ, and then 2 Tigers right behind him, Kylan Billiott and Joey Wall. Then got South Carolina quarterback Don Pinkins Jr. in 4th, and then quarterback Bryce Underwood in 5th. Look at our awards watch list. I'm not going to go through everybody. We'll go through the top ones. Player of the Year, Yearby leading the way. Coach of the Year, Chapo leading the way, undefeated squad. Quarterback right now is Underwood. Defensive player is Champ Tompkins. Defensive back is Manziel out of Kansas. Best running back, also Kansas, Devian Gross. Yearby's best receiver, of course, leading the Heisman race. Lombardi, Chance Tompkins. Quarterback Jeff Curtin, looking at the Unitas Golden Arm Award. Tompkins again for best defensive end. Interior lineman Jason Veal leads the way for Kentucky. Tight end, also out of Kansas, Ellis Williams. DeMarcus Griffin, the OC for LSU. Best linebacker, of course, is going to be Shanklin out of LSU. Best center, Romeo Perkins out of Florida. Got kicker. Best punter out of Ole Miss. Best return man. We don't have anybody up there. All right. Before we get into predictions, let's look at some conference standings. Looking at the ACC here, Peso still has to play both Gabe and Savon. If he were to lose both, Gabe can probably get in. If he wins either, he's going to be in versus Savon, though. So, looking very likely it's going to be Georgia Tech versus South Carolina, but don't count Gabe out. I'm not sure what the tiebreaking situation is left, but Clemson and Miami also only 2 lost teams. They play this week, so one of them is going to be eliminated for sure. But I think either one's going to have a really tough task trying to get in that conference title game. As far as bowls go, everybody's still on the table except for Louisville and Georgia, although these bottom 3, Clemson, Miami, and Virginia Tech, got to really finish the season well. Look at the Big 12. Dave, with his win last week, is 6-1 in conference play. His only loss to Ryan. I'm 99% sure that locks him into the conference title game. Kansas is probably in. If he can just continue to win games, there is a chance that I think he still has Dean left, maybe LP too. Maybe there's a chance that LP slips in. His only loss is to Dave, so he definitely has LP left. It'd be interesting to see who gets that other spot to play against Dave. As far as bowl games go, you know how this conference works. The top 4 are always going to make a bowl. The bottom 4 are always not going to. So all of them not looking so great here at the bottom. Big Ten play. Very interesting race. Got 4 teams all with a good chance to get in. Oregon, Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. A lot of them have not played each other yet. Hayden's only loss is to Des. Des' only loss is to Mike, which honestly is the loss you want at this point because it means you're going to have tiebreakers everybody else up here. Michigan, I think his only loss is to Mike. It might be to Sam, but I know Sam has not played Des, Hayden, or Mike. So yeah, so Michigan, his only loss is to Sam. So all 4 of these teams, good chances to get in still. As far as a bowl game goes, these 4 are probably going to make a bowl. Missouri and Washington, both at 4 wins, have to finish the season strong. I'm not sure who exactly they have left, but got to have a good finish to the season here to get in. Go look at the SEC. Race is still pretty interesting. 5 teams all with a shot to get in. Same 5 teams all going to make a bowl. The bottom 3 not looking at a bowl game. This week is, of course, big-time matchup, LSU-Kentucky. If LSU wins, he's going to lock himself into the SEC championship game. It's going to put JJ between a rock and a hard place here down the stretch. I haven't done the math for everybody. I know what my odds are to get in. I need JJ to beat Chapo, and then I have to beat Chapo next week. And then I need Drop to beat Twan. If those 3 things happen, I'll get to Atlanta. Also, obviously, very difficult task. I'm not exactly sure what everyone else here is going to be. JJ's loss is to Drop, so he definitely wants Drop to lose to anyone that he can. And then Twan's situation's a little tough because he's lost to both JJ and Chapo. So he really needs, he needs JJ to lose this week and then lose his other game. I don't know who it is. Probably not very likely. So Alabama's odds probably the bleakest there. Continue going through some stuff before we get to predictions, just because I got time. Let's look at some team stats. Look at leaders for each conference, things like that. Start off with the ACC. Best offense in the ACC to this point in the season has been Florida. Worst offense has been Virginia Tech, down in 1974. Worst passing offense is Louisville. Best passing offense is Florida. Worst running offense is Rob, only 406 yards. Rob used to be a runner. I don't know what's happened there, but best running offense, no surprise, is Peso, 1435. He's got a real chance to break some rushing yards records this season with the pace he's going, but he does have 2 tough games left. Points per game, South Carolina at 45 per game, 13.7 for Louisville. Louisville also lowest in passing touchdowns, South Carolina high. I'll do touchdowns for everybody. Defensively, no surprise here, South Carolina number 1, Georgia Tech number 2. At the bottom here, you have Georgia. Lowest passing yards, South Carolina. Most passing yards, Louisville. Lowest rushing yards, Peso at only 425. Most rushing yards, Clemson at over 1,000 yards already. Least points, South Carolina at 123 through 9 games. That's real good. I don't know what that's like, 13 something per game. And then Clemson at 319. It looks like EFI's really struggling defensively. Only 11 sacks for Rob, 31 for G's. No fumble recoveries there, 5 from Georgia. Only 7 picks for Louisville, 37 interceptions from Florida. Leads the way by far. Do third down percentages too. Best third down percentage, South Carolina at 54%. G's only converting 27% of his third downs and has not converted a fourth down this entire season. Jesus. Offense has been a struggle for Virginia Tech. Moving on to the Big 12. Third down percentage goes Texas the lowest at 30%. Not what you want to see. Of course, Ryan up there at 60% leads the way for the conference. Offensively, Ryan with the top offense, Texas with the worst offense. Passing yards, Texas is lowest, Ryan is highest. Rushing yards, Chevy lowest, only 560 rushing yards through 10 games, 56 yards per game. Dean leads the conference in rushing yards, followed by Kansas. Points, Texas only 14 a game, 49 per game for Kansas. Defensively, Cal Moore's defense has been awful. 4,300 yards. It's got to be one of the worst in the whole league, not just the conference. Kansas only 2,500. A little surprising there. Didn't expect to see that. Dave and LP, I generally think, have better defenses. Lowest passing, Kansas. Most from Morg. Lowest rushing, Dave, at only 492. Most from Leslie's former team. Sacks go, TCU lowest. Kansas highest at 38. Glitch blitzes. Texas lowest. Dean, 6 fumble recoveries. Only 7 picks all year for Chevy, while Ryan has 29. Look at the Big Ten. Best offense so far has been Sam. We said his toughest games are still to show, but he's barely leading over Des. Worst has been Hayden. Wow, Hayden. Jesus. Both Jazz and Chap have more yards than Hayden this year. And Dell, who doesn't have a winning record. Hayden's lowest in passing yards, and we got Dell most passing yards in the conference. Lowest rushing is Chap, only 500 yards. A little surprising. Most from Sam. Credit to Mike, also over 1,000 rushing. Points, Maryland 18.3 is the lowest, while we got Penn State at 42 as the highest. Defensively, Des, best defense in the conference, Hayden second. No real surprises there by a large margin. Maryland is last. Passing yards is Des. Worst is Maryland. Lowest rushing is Hayden at only 500 per game. Most is Jazz. Points on 148 by Hayden, 373 by Chap. Only 15 sacks for Jazz, 38 from Des leads the way. No surprise there. Only 7 picks from Jazz as well, 27 picks from Michigan. By far leading his conference. Third down percentage, Jazz lowest at 34%, Des highest at 54%. Only person in the conference over 50% there. SEC play, yeah, that's insane. He's only gotten to 40 third downs all year, and he's converting 75% of them. That's the best in the country for Kentucky. Nobody else is even close. 51% for LSU, still pretty solid. Lowest at Ole Miss is at 35%. Offensively, you saw when we started this, they have the best offense in the country yards-wise. But LSU right there, right behind him. They're playing this week. LSU's played an extra game, though, too. Worst offense in the conference has been Vanderbilt. Worst passing offense has been TLU. Best passing offense, of course, has been Kentucky. Worst rushing offense has been Freeway, only 177 yards. That is abysmal. While Twan leads the way at 961 rushing yards. Points per game, Vandy lowest 15.4. LSU at 51 per game. Defensively, Chapo with the best defense in the conference there. Worst defense has been Freeway. Best passing defense has been JJ. Worst passing defense has been TLU. Best rushing defense has been TLU. I'm guessing that's just because nobody runs the ball against him. Chapo at 519, much more impressive. While Freeway, nobody's in close. I mean, he's like 350 yards or whatever that is, more than anybody else. Sacks, only 15 from Vanderbilt. 41 from LSU is nuts. Only 13 picks from Vandy. 46 picks from Alabama. That is going to do it for the team stats. Run through a couple player stats. just go through nationally probably and see how many of our guys are at the top. Would be the best way to do it. Leading the country in yards, Jeff Curtin, Kentucky. Leading in touchdowns, 42 from Joey Wall. Most picks, 50 from KJ Jackson. Real bad. Emmanuel Evanson is the second closest at 27. So 23 less picks. That's nuts. And most sacked. No surprise that Chap always leads in sacked quarterback. He just takes a lot of them. 41, 40 from Arkansas as well. So both those two, not great. Rushing wise, leading the country is Dean's running back, Hood. Is that really more than anybody that... Sometimes these things glitch out. I'm not 100% positive. It is, wow. Dean's running back, 883. Most touchdowns. It's like we got both... Yeah, we got Oregon's guy, Teo, with 11. Most fumbles from a user. Looks like we got 3 from E-Fall. E-Fall for E-Fly. Next, receiving. Year B leads the way, 1375 in yards. Billiot kind of close behind him, though. Melton also over 1,000. So we got 3 users over 1,000 there. Receptions is Year B as well. Touchdowns got to be with 23 touchdowns. Yeah, Billiot right there. And, of course, the uncoveted drops by E-Fly's guy, Lamar, who has 8 of them. Defensively, look at some of this stuff. TFL's sacks. The CPU guy has 18.5 sacks. Good Lord. These are not correct because I have a guy at 6 and he's not showing up. So a lot of the stuff isn't going to show up correctly. Yeah. All right, let's get into the predictions. Ran through enough other shit. Got a really good slate of games this week. Like, really, really good. There's 6 games of the week, and there's 2 more that honestly could have been games of the week. So we'll start off with the ACC. And a game that I'm kind of interested to see because it's a big-time decider who's going to finish like 4th in that conference probably, as well as chances to make a bowl game. So Rob and his 4-5 Miami Hurricanes travel into Clemson to play the 3-6 Clemson Tigers, which is E-Fly. Last week, these two teams, Rob with a close loss at Peso and E-Fly with a close loss at home to Delvin. Rob's playing pretty good lately, I think, on the defensive side of the ball. His offense could be a little more balanced, a little bit desired as we saw with his running stats. But I think if E-Fly can lose at home to Delvin, he can lose at home to Rob easily. I'm going to say Rob wins a close one, 24-20 at Clemson. Big time game here. Probably decides who is playing Savon in the ACC title game. Number 2, Georgia Tech at 8-1. That's Peso. Comes into Gainesville to play the 13th ranked Florida Gators at 6-3, which is Gabe. Last time these two teams played in Gainesville, Gabe beat Peso like a drum. So I know that he's looking to bounce back from that. This game's tough, man. I think Peso's playing better right now. But kids playing something in the background here. I'm going to take Gabe because he's at home. I would take Peso if he was at home. I'm going to take Gabe to win a close game this time. I'm going to say he wins at 35-28. Let's go 34-28. Florida beats Georgia Tech. G's at 4-5, traveling into Columbia to play the 9-0 third-ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. G's offense is bad this year. You saw it's the worst third down percentage in the league, and Savon's defense is elite, especially at home. I'm actually kind of I think I'm going to pick the shutout here. South Carolina wins 40. South Carolina wins 52-0, maybe 52-3. Battle of the bottom of the barrel in the ACC. 0-9 Georgia Bulldogs. That is Henny looking for his first win in the league. Traveled to Louisville to play the 2-7 Louisville Cardinals. That's Delvin. Delvin coming off a good win last week. Clemson, I think he's gonna keep rolling with that. He'll get the win here. Will be a close win, I think, but I'm gonna go Louisville 24-17 over Georgia. Moving on to the Big 12.
2-7 Texas Longhorns. That's Dwayne. Traveled to Berkeley to play the 2-8 Cal Golden Bears. That is Morg. Morg, his takeover of the league is not going as he expected, although he's obviously looking through beer goggles or something because he thinks he's doing well. Morg's at home. If Dwayne is at home, I'd probably pick him, honestly. But with Morg at home, he makes adjustments. He'll score offensively. I don't know if I can say the same for Dwayne. Morg wins it 35-17 over Texas. This game's already played. Big-time game for Dave and Dean. Locked Dave into the conference title game with a 28-14 win at Colorado. Looks like it was all knotted at half, and then in the fourth quarter, Dave took care of business. 23 first downs. Total yards is pretty roughly the same. Looks like Dean just could not get Dave off the field. 3 out of 4 on third down. No turnovers from Dave, only the one from Dean. Get both. I got to do it this way. Shit. Nothing there, really. 2 touchdown passes from Kyle Goda. Rushing touchdown from Holdman and from Goda as well. Hood had 125 yards, continuing his lead of the country with a touchdown as well. What was the turnover? That was a pick. I wonder if it was pick 6. Anyway, next big-time game here. If LP wins this game, he's going to be 4-1. And I think the only person that's tough he's going to have to play left is Dean. So if he can beat Dean, then he'll rematch with Dave in the conference title game. If Ryan wins, he's going to be in a really good spot because I think the only person he's got left is Dean too, and he will have already beaten LP. He can match up with Dave again. Number 1 Kansas at 8-1, traveling to Norman to play the 12th ranked Oklahoma Sooners at 6-3. LP's playing really good right now. Ryan's going to have suspensions in this game to a couple players. I want to pick LP. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick LP to win. It wouldn't surprise me if Ryan won anyway, but the fact that LP's at home, he's playing good football right now, I'm going to take him to win this game. He wins it 31-28 on a game-winning field goal over Kansas. Big Ten play. 11th ranked Oregon Ducks at 7-2 travel to Columbus to play the 10th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes at 6-3. Obviously, goes out saying big time game for the race for the Big Ten title match, but this is Sam's first real test. The only 2 times he's played a top 15 user this season were Gabe and Drop, and both of them ran him off the field. So we'll look to see if he's a little better in conference play. Hayden not been great lately at all, even especially at home. Taking some home blowouts, struggling to score. His defense has been good, and I think that's the reason he'll probably win this game. But it will be an ugly, messy affair. Give me Oregon 24-. Give me Ohio State 24-10 over Oregon. V will be getting enforcement over Michigan State. This game already happened. Missouri, big time win to keep himself in the race, trying to make a bowl game. 42-20, Mike takes down Dell. Looks like it's scoreless early, and then, heading into the fourth, Mike's up 35-7. Handles business. I'm guessing this is probably a turnover affair. Yeah, 4-3. So lots of turnovers by both teams. Quick look at the stats. 3 touchdown passes from Mike. 2 from the Notre Dame quarterback. Neither team ran the ball super well, but both teams scored a couple touchdowns. Next, Jazz, with her 4-5 Washington Huskies, traveled to University Park to Beaver Stadium to play the 5th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions at 8-1. That's death. It's going to be death. It's going to be absolute massacre. Jazz can't stop anybody right now. She's really struggling on offense, and Death's at home. It's really good. So give me Penn State here, 38-0 over Washington. This game is being played right now. I just realized. Moving on to the SEC. Got a game already happened. Twan beat me 38-28 last night. I couldn't get him off the field. I mean, he had 4 offensive touchdowns, and all of them were over 60 yards. Giving up big plays. We moved the ball well. 5 out of 10 on third down, 2 out of 3 on fourth down. We had 445 yards total offense. Both teams turned the ball over a lot. To be honest with you, though, most of those were in the fourth quarter. We kind of just started taking turns throwing picks at that point. Time of possession, I had the big lead there. Look at the player stats. Shockey threw 3, but more picks. Draper threw 3, but more picks. I don't even remember Snead coming in. I guess he came in for 1 play and threw an interception. We look at rushing yards, 129. He got that 58-yard touchdown was most of it. I did not run the ball super well. Receiving, my freshman has first 100-yard game of his career, and Melton putting up Randy numbers, 3 for 186 and 3 touchdowns. He ran right by my defense. There was nothing I could do about it. Defensive side of the ball, sack from Lord and Vincent Douglas. Picks across the board for a couple different folks. Great pick 6 by Twan with Xavier Mincy on a screen pass. He did a really great job on that. My side of the ball, Petty had 2 picks. I don't think we got a sack. All right. 3 games to go over. 1-8 Vanderbilt. It's freeway travel to Oxford to play the 3-7 Ole Miss Rebels. That is Eric. Eric has played okay, except for when he has to play the big boys, but he's playing well in these medium matchups. Freeway, as you saw, is not only the worst offense in the conference this season, he's mainly been the worst defense, which is impressive that a conference has TLU in it. I think he's going to struggle in this game. Neither team has great overall. They're both like low overall-ish compared to everybody else. But Eric wins this game. I'll go 34-14. Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt. Drop. Number 9 in the country, Tennessee Volunteers 6-3. Travel to Fayetteville to play the 4-6 Arkansas Razorbacks. Last gasp of the bowl game here by T. Lou. I do not even think he would go down swinging with it. 1 second. I think Drop wins this game huge. Would not surprise me if it was a shutout. But I'll go 56-7. Tennessee beats Arkansas. Finally, not just the game of the week, maybe the game of the season. 4th-ranked LSU at 10-0, which is Chapo, travels to Lexington to play the 6th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats at 7-2, which is JJ. With a win, Chapo locks himself in the SEC title game. With a win, JJ also probably locks himself into the SEC title game. Big time here. Both teams with a loss could be in danger with another loss of missing the SEC game. This is best two defenses in the country, best 2 offenses in the country. Must-see TV. I mean, these matchups are tough. I think I'm going to lean JJ just because he'll be able to make his hot route adjustments because he's home. Defensively, is about the same. I think Chapo is the clearly better runner between the two, but I think JJ makes less mistakes passing, although just slightly. And Yearby is a freak. I'm going to say Kentucky wins it. Game-winning field goal. 27-24. Kentucky beats LSU. Partly, I'm picking that just because I want Kentucky to win. Because if I can beat Chapo next week, I got a chance at the SEC title. That is going to do it for the predictions video. Ran through a whole bunch of stuff in this one. We've had to give out suspensions pretty often lately, so make sure you are on top of the rules. Just go read them. It takes 5 minutes. 4th down rules, of course, always pinned there. Make sure you read your pull starters rule if you're a good user and you know you're going to have to pull them at some point. And everybody stream your games. They're supposed to be streamed. Some of y'all slacking off on not streaming. And everybody have a good day.